Good afternoon. Welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day. The archipelago was present at the 7th Congress The Regions Propose, organized by the National Federation of Departments.
The governor of the department, Everett Hawkins, and the Secretary of Finance, Charles Livingston, attended the 7th Congress of the Regions Propose, led by the National Federation of Departments. At the Congress, the proposals formulated by the departments were socialized, which were focused on the attention and needs aimed at regional strengthening and territorial finances. The governor requested the Minister of Finance to form a commission to review the resources that have yet to be transferred to the archipelago, important resources for the operation of the entity.
We have a particular situation regarding the first law of 72, Law 1528, which is the income tax that the archipelago collects through the DIAN. It is ours, but we have only received 16,000 million of the 86,000 million. This is vital for us to be able to comply with the entity's procedures. I wanted to ask the Vice Minister to stay working with whoever is responsible for looking at the amounts owed to the department and to look into the possibility of this urgent transfer, which by law corresponds to us and is causing a gap in the budget. We have a budgetary and financial deficit that we need to overcome with your help, Minister.
The governors also proposed to reform Law 617 of year 2000, operating expenses of territorial entities, to modify and reform the consumption tax, to modify the transport tax, to create the excise tax on heated tobacco, electronic cigarettes, similar systems with and without nicotine, to reform the general system of participations, to structurally reform the fund PET, and to create the tax on sugar-sweetened drinks.
New challenges and a new roadmap to continue contributing to development of our archipelago will be the central theme of a forum to be held on our island by the Chamber of Commerce and the University of El Rosario.
In alliance with the Universidad del Rosario, Casa Editorial El Tiempo, and the German Konrad Adenauer Foundation, the Forum The Future of the Archipelago Sustainability and Tourism will be held within the framework of the Ruta País project to propose possible solutions and work together in search of the common good, as well as to present to the new government the social and economic hopes of the archipelago.
We will hold a forum with experts from the University of Rosario, who will visit us and different leaders of the department to talk about the challenge we have as a department and think about the route to follow for the archipelago. We will address issues such as sustainability, which is crucial, and also the tourism that we want and need for the department.
The forum will be a dynamic space and oriented to the strategy that must be adopted in the islands to have a more sustainable archipelago with higher quality for all the inhabitants of the island and visitors.
Today, the Secretary of Public Utilities, Asbel Bryan, gave us details of the construction of the water extraction point of the new desalination plant.
After formally initiating with the signing of the Construction Groundbreaking Act for the construction of the water intake point of the new desalination plant, the Secretary of Public Services gave detail about the resistance to the rainy season and technical points of great importance for the structure.
La infraestructura de la captación.
The infrastructure of the seawater extraction point has wave breaker protection barriers, and this is also for the defense against the presence of tropical storms, strong storms, and high sea swells, which occur with some frequency on our island.
One of the great points to highlight is also that this will improve the time of water supply in the sectors that are connected to the network.
Recordemos que la puesta en marcha de este proyecto.
Let's remember that the implementation of this project will be very important for the inhabitants of the island, since it will improve the schedule of water supply in sectors that are interconnected to the network and who have suffered the consequences of damage to the drive line of the existing plant's network. This will also shorten the time it takes for the water to reach each household. It is important to clarify that we will still not have 24/7 supply, but we continue working, and this is an advance for the administration. It is a work of which we know is important, and for the next months it will be a reality for us.
According to information from the head of the portfolio, the aqueduct system of San Andres is not sufficient for the demand of the population. Therefore, they hope that with the construction of the desalination plant, the capacity will increase from 62 liters per second to 137 liters per second.
After the beginning of the works for the installation of the water collection point, the community in the department gives their opinion.
Within the beginning of the work for the installation of drinking water collection points, Teleislas News consulted the community about their thought on these points, who hope that these culminate in a timely manner and thus to have the desalination plant of 1 liter per second into operation for the benefit of the archipelago.
For me, it seems better, and all because we are suffering a lot from water, so I think it's good. I hope it becomes a reality.
Me parece algo fundamental.
I think it is something fundamental for the community. The operation depends on the government not to leave it in the middle of the process. We hope they will finish with it soon. That's the best thing that they can do. Water is the biggest factor that needs to be addressed. At least I have tanks and I look for a way to fill them so I don't have to suffer.
Ya cuando comience a funcionar la planta esa.
When the plant is working, the pipelines should be put in our neighborhoods that don't have water.
No, muy buena.
This is a very good project because we really need drinking water. We hope it becomes a reality.
When this plant comes into operation, the most benefit will be the community of the archipelago, which for years has suffered from the lack of drinking water.
A great opportunity for people of all ages to expand their academic career portfolio, recently opened by the Chamber of Commerce and other entities where the community can specialize in virtual certified programs.
Within the framework of the SENA 2022 Specialized Continuing Educational Program, the Colombian Federation of Municipalities, in partnership with the Association for Development, Innovation and Project Management, opened free virtual certified courses that will enable the community to be trained with studies taught by experts in each subject of study.
These courses have a duration of 4 months and will be certified by SENA. On the Chamber of Commerce social media platforms, you will find more information about the available certified courses and the registration link.
The courses are now available and certification is awarded upon completion of the 80-hour course. The basic requirements are to be of legal age, have a high school, technical and technician technologies, professional or postgraduate diploma. All information can be found in the social networks of the Chamber of Commerce.
The Ministry of Health issued a new report on the COVID situation in our islands.
The presence of reported cases of COVID-19 is maintained in the national account issued by the Ministry of Health. For today's report, the ministry announced that the island had 4 cases in the count, reaching a total of 10,327 cases presented since the pandemic began. Now, according to information from the latest report of the Health Secretary at the departmental level, which is published on the official website, it is not clear which are the active cases. However, they highlight that the occupation of the intensive care unit is at 0%. The deaths to date are 155, and the most affected neighborhoods are San Luis, Nataña, Cerrivier, Obrero Schoolhouse. The lethality of the virus is 1.42%. In the last hours, the Ministry of Health also announced that they must lower our guard because the country is experiencing an increase in the number of cases.
And now let's know other facts that today are making news in our brief news section.
In order to promote the culture of tourism in the island's educational institutions, the Secretariat of Tourism, in coordination with the Colombian Association of Travel and Tourism Agency ANATO San Andres chapter, conducted educational activities with students of the Bolivariano institution attached to the program Schools Friends of Tourism. Attendees learned about the importance of environmental care. In addition, they explained how tourism works on the island, why it is the basis of the economy, and how we can contribute to quality tourism. The group of environmental protection of the National Police rescued a domestic canine species which was in a state of abandonment and with a high degree of dehydration, accompanied by her 3 puppies. In a quick reaction, the police proceeded to transfer these canines to the departmental shelter, where they will receive care for providing them with all comfort. the Secretariat of Infrastructure and Public Services conducted socialization of the Duppy Gully Road Improvement Project with the inhabitants of the area. During the meeting, the designs of the work were presented and approved by the community as stated by the departmental government, and it was also agreed between the parties that the citizens should exercise oversight over the execution of the road.
With this information, we reach to the end of our broadcast. We see you tonight at 8 p.m. with more of Teleislas News. Good afternoon.